Hello friends and people who come and watch my content. Good morning to you all. Well, we're in that time of year now. We're in the silly season. We're at that Christmas time of year. Time for celebration, I suppose, if that's what you do. You know, time for you're missing the people that are no longer here with us. Oh God, it's so muddy here. Like, I lost my father a few years ago on Christmas Eve, funnily enough. But you know, it's just another day. Christmas is just another day. If you're religious, then yeah, it means more to you than it does to others. I enjoy Christmas. I really enjoy Christmas. For the kids more than anything, but I prefer New Year. I think it's more for adults, isn't it? But yeah, what I was going to say was, being here in the Philippines for Christmas, it doesn't really. There's two ways of looking at it. You know, it's like it doesn't feel like Christmas in one way because it's not cold. You know, we haven't got the snow, and also back in England now, you don't really get the snow now at Christmas. You normally get it in January, but you know, when I was a kid a long time ago, because now I'm a dinosaur, we used to, like 50%, you get snow at Christmas, but now it's not so much. And here, what they do on Christmas, they go swimming in the ocean, so that's what we'll be doing this year as well. But it's certainly, when I first came here, I came here in the December 26th, so Boxing Day, I arrived in the Philippines 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. And it was odd. I mean, I enjoyed it because it was the first time I'd been away for Christmas in a tropical country. But it was very, very odd that, you know, because I left England then and it was cold, and I come here and I remember getting off the plane in Cebu and, oh, it's so warm, beautiful. But it didn't feel like Christmas. And the following year afterwards, it still didn't feel like Christmas, you know. But now I'm kind of used to it because I've been here for such a long time and I've been here for several Christmases, that it becomes normal. Something that wasn't normal, it is normal now for Christmas. And being in the Philippines, you know, most of the people are very, very religious, and they celebrate Christmas much more than I did in the West, and much more than any of my friends or the people I knew would celebrate it. Here is a very spiritual thing, I suppose, and a religious thing, which I don't really get involved with. But I suppose it does make it feel more like Christmas. We had the carol singers come round every night for the last week. And last night was especially interesting because it was the people from the church, and there must have been about 30 of them. And there was a guy there on the guitar, and they were singing, and they sounded really good, actually. I was in the house, and my wife went out, and I heard it, and I thought, wow, that sounds really good. And I went out, and they were all singing in key, and there was like a chorus. Absolutely fantastic. So it's starting to feel like Christmas to me now, a little bit. It's starting to feel like it. I went into the village early this morning to get some bits and pieces, and last Christmas I gave you my heart. That song was playing. Um, who was that? Was that Wham or George Michael? I know George Michael was part of Wham, but I can't think if he did that by himself or if he was with Wham. Anyway, that was on, and that always makes it feel like Christmas. And it's not going to be Christmas, guys, without Slade. And here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. It's not Christmas without that song. It's not Christmas. So yeah, guys, you know, I'm starting to get into the feeling of it. I'm starting to get into the feeling. But, you know, we have to spare a thought for the people who are not as fortunate as we are. And I do that. Every year, you know, perhaps we shouldn't really think of these unfortunate souls at only one time of the year. perhaps we should think of them more often. But it's Christmas that really brings it home to me when I think of the people who haven't got anything. Maybe they've got no family. They might be loners. And it does make you feel a bit sad. Um, but, you can't help the world. You're a single person, can't help the world. But it is a sad time for people like that, especially for the older people when they've lost their partners, their husband or wives, and they sat in the house at Christmas time by themselves. That's got to be sad. That's a sad time. I remember my grandmother, and she used to love Christmas. My grandma, she'd make all of the Christmas cakes, and you had to be careful when you went into the house because you couldn't slam the doors. You couldn't slam the doors going into the house because she said, "Be quiet, don't slam the doors." I said, "Why?" She says, "Because the cake will drop." I still don't understand that even today. She says the cake will drop in the oven. But my grandma used to make the bread, the cakes, and it was a really, really traditional upbringing that I had. And my family weren't religious, but they loved Christmas. And I remember, family would come from miles around and spend Christmas. And I was only a kid then. And I'd see my uncles and aunties. Some of them I liked, some of them I disliked, especially my Uncle John. He would come and "Ooh, Stephen," and he'd pull my face like this. Oh my goodness, he was a nightmare. I used to think, I was only young at the time. But he meant well. He meant well. And that was the only time all the family where I came from would get together, would be Christmas time. And my dad used to give me, what was it called? Yeah, so my father would give me eggnog, and it was this like egg alcohol drink. I remember it well. And I used to have nice, Dad, nice. And the sherry would come out for the older people. The sherry would come out, and the port would come out. And then you get, my grandma, who didn't drink ordinarily, but it was Christmas, guys, so she drank. And I remember once she got drunk and fell off the back step. And we all went there to help pick her up. And yeah, she was laughing. And her teeth fell out because she had false teeth. Her teeth fell out. And that's the time when everyone used to get together, Christmas times. And absolutely a blinding, brilliant time as a kid growing up. Many of us will say the same thing these days where, Christmas is very commercialised. It was probably commercialised then, but people didn't have so much expendable money then, I don't think. So it was just, whatever your parents give you, that's what you had, and you had to make do with what they give you. Now, oh my God, children and kids want iPads and this and that and the other. I can't remember what I got. I got a sledge one Christmas, and that was the best gift I got, was the sledge. It was great. It was a brilliant gift I got from my dad. And this year, for my son, he's only 3 and a bit, I bought him a bike with the stabilizers. And yesterday I went into Dipolog and I bought it. And I was coming down the road and I was thinking, I hope my wife and son isn't walking up the road. And I got to the house and I was just going to stop the bike around, by someone's house and say, "Miri, can you go and walk in the forest while I get the bike in and put it upstairs so he can't see it?" Anyway, my wife was at the neighbour's house and she went, "Hey." I thought, oh no. I said, "Keep Kaylin inside the house." So she did. And I untied the bike from my motorbike, put it upstairs, and it just reminded me, how my parents, must have felt for me at Christmas time when they used to hide things, and we believed in Santa. I believed in Santa. I can't remember how old I was where I stopped believing in Santa. But yeah, I did. I believed in Santa. My son doesn't understand Santa Claus yet, but, he says, "Santa's coming, Dad." He doesn't know who he is, but I said, "Yes, if you've been a good boy." And it just reminds me how I felt, when I was a kid, and all excited, and how my parents must have felt, especially my father, because my father really enjoyed Christmas. And the selection boxes, guys, you remember the selection boxes? And what were they called? The calendars. What were they called? And you opened one every day in December and you got a piece of chocolate. Can't remember what they called. can't remember what they call advent calendar, perhaps. And it just brings back all those memories, you know, when I've got like a young child now. And happy time of year, guys. It is, you know, for us it's a happy time of year, and I appreciate it. For others it's not such a happy time, you know, like I said earlier, you know, you've lost loved ones, and the older you get, guys, the more loved ones you do lose, unfortunately. That's life. Life goes on, life has to continue. And but for us, for me, my wife and my son, we're going to have a quiet Christmas, really. You know, we'll have you know, the neighbours are celebrating it. We've been invited round, and we'll probably pop round there for an hour or two. And but Christmas Day for my son, and I just want to see his face when he sees his bike. So Christmas Day, I'll be out with him on his bike. That's what I'll be doing. That's 100% guaranteed. I'll be trying to teach him to ride the bike, which I remember my father teaching me to ride my bike. I still got that memory. And my first bike was called a Mini Riser, and it was yellow. And I went everywhere on this bike, you know, once I learned how to ride it. And after a short space of time, the stabilizers come off, and I was riding on 2 wheels, guys. I had many accidents, but that's part of life, you know, that's part of learning things. Great time. Had a great time. And I can see myself in my boy. You know, I can see myself in him, because we're very much alike. We have the same temperament, and you can tell when kids are young, even at 3 years old, he's got a good temperament, and he's always active. He's a very active boy. My wife is not so active. You know, she's not really active at all, to be honest with you, but my son, very active. So that's what we'll be doing Christmas Day. I'll be teaching my boy how to ride his little bike, and Christmas night we're going to my wife wants to go to a mass at the church, because, you know, she's Catholic. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll come along with you, even though I'm not really religious. But, you know, she wants me and Kaylin to go to the church, so we'll do that. I will honour that. And that's it, I think. It's just going to be not anything extraordinary. Or sometime over the Christmas, maybe the following day, we call it Boxing Day in England. Here, I don't know what they call it. I don't think they call it anything. We'll go to, you know, my wife's family, take some rice, what else? Some bread, things like this. I think that's about it. And then back to normal until New Year. Now, New Year's a different thing, guys. New Year is adult time as far as I'm concerned. So on New Year's Eve, I will be celebrating with neighbours and seeing the New Year in, probably drunk. Probably drunk. Well, that's what I'm hoping to do anyway. What else will be happening here? What else will be happening? I think that's about it, to be honest. I think that's about it. But anyway, I just thought I'd just share this video with you as to what we'll be doing, and as to our Christmas. We had turkey a couple of years ago. They call it pavo or something like that. And it was really nice. And the guy that we went to, he barbecued a barbecued turkey. That doesn't sound good. It was really, really nice. It was marinated overnight, then they barbecued. It was absolutely delicious. We're just going to get a couple of kilos of pork for Christmas Day, and maybe a little bit of chicken. Not too much of anything, really. But you don't need too much. You know, I think people overindulge and get too much because it's Christmas. But you don't need to get too many things, guys. You don't, or we don't anyway. Anyway, I think this is going to be it. All this mud and dirt. We've had so much rain here, guys, really, in Mindanao. There's a low pressure system. It's been nice everywhere else in the Philippines, in the northern part of the Philippines, been nice, but here, been absolutely terrible. And today is 100% forecast of rain again, but that's all right. It is what it is. Can't complain. The weather is what it is. That's one thing we can't change. Unless climate change is changing it for us. But yeah, Ah, the house is coming on. Our house is coming on. Got to get up there and paint that roof after Christmas. Got to paint the roof. It's starting to rust up. Not good. Not a good look. I'm scared of heights as well. We had a silly quote from a guy here to come and paint the roof. It was something ridiculous. I said, no, I'll do it myself. When I'm up on top of that roof and start painting it and look down, I think, why didn't I get the guy to paint it? I'm scared. But you know, if you've only got a certain amount of money, you can't do the things that you'd normally pay other people to do. So I've got to do that myself. Anyway, guys, thank you. If I don't see you before, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Share the video, notification, hit the bell. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Take good care.